Welcome to Voice of Rockefeller. If you're ready for brutal clarity, hit subscribe and listen closely.
Most men, upon waking, are immediately ensnared. They fall into a state of perpetual motion, a hurried, reactive drift through a life devoid of any genuine purpose. They are ships without rudders, tossed about by the whims of circumstance. But consider this. What if the initial 10 minutes of your day, that sliver of time between the darkness of slumber and the harsh light of reality, held the power to fundamentally reshape your entire existence? What if this singular morning decision could recalibrate your mindset, solidify your identity, and ultimately dictate the terms of your success? The question is not why this is so. The answer is self-evident. The way you begin your day is the way you will live your day. The way you live your days is the way you will live your life. And how is this mastery achieved? Through a simple, intentional ritual. A ritual that prepares the mind not to follow the herd, but to lead it. Your future does not begin at some distant, indeterminate point. It begins the moment your eyes open to the world. In the moments that follow, I will reveal to you the principles by which I have commanded my mornings, and in doing so, reshaped the very course of my life. For the morning is a mirror. If I were to observe you for a single morning, I could, with a fair degree of accuracy, predict the trajectory of your future. Not because I possess some mystical insight, but because your morning is a reflection of your inner self. It reveals your discipline or lack thereof. It exposes your direction or your aimless wanderings. It lays bare your deepest desires or your most crippling fears. The majority of men rise in reaction. They are summoned from their sleep by the shrill cry of an alarm, by the insistent demands of the world. They allow the world to knock upon their door before they have even considered knocking upon the door of opportunity. But the men who win, the men who build, they rise with intention. Every magnificent structure, every enduring legacy is built upon a solid foundation. Your morning is that foundation. What you do in the quiet solitude of your chambers, before the world has a chance to cast its judgment upon you, determines how the world will ultimately receive you. The first hour after you wake is not merely a measure of time. It is a declaration. It is a statement that proclaims to the world, I am in control or I am controlled. When you step out of your bed, you must step into your purpose. You must shut out the noise of the world, the incessant chatter of the news, the meaningless gossip of the masses. You must seek clarity. You must cultivate focus. You must listen only to the voice within you, the voice that whispers, we are not here to merely survive. We are here to conquer. Do not allow yourself to drift. Do not succumb to the temptation of the snooze button. The moment you hesitate, the moment you delay, you surrender your power to fear. You send a message to the day that it, not you, is the master of your fate. But when you rise with a fire in your belly, when you speak your goals aloud, when you commit them to paper, when you take that one small, deliberate step forward, you seize command. And that command becomes your compass, your guiding star in the darkness. The morning does not grant you power. It reveals the power that already lies within you. And if you learn to harness it, to channel it, it will multiply beyond your wildest imaginings. You will become unshakable, not through some occasional act of will, but through the consistent, disciplined practice of what you do first. Your thoughts are the soil in which you plant the seeds of your future. Your focus is the water that nourishes them. Your action is the sunlight that brings them to fruition. If you provide your mind with these three essential elements every morning, your life will yield a harvest of unimaginable abundance. So I implore you, ask yourself this question: who do I want to become? And then, without hesitation, without delay, begin the process of becoming that person before you even break your fast. There is a profound transformation that occurs when you confront and conquer one difficult thing first thing in the morning. Something you would rather avoid. Something that your mind resists with every fiber of its being. But once it is done, that resistance scatters. Its grip on you loosens. This is the secret weapon of all those who achieve greatness. They do not wait for motivation to strike them like lightning. They manufacture it. And how do they manufacture it? By taking action before they feel ready, before they feel inspired. The mind is a muscle. If you train it to surrender to the siren's song of comfort, it will abandon you in your hour of need. It will crumble in the face of crisis. But if you train it to obey the commands of your will, to submit to the discipline of strength, it will become your most steadfast and powerful ally. So, what is your one hard thing? Is it the bracing shock of cold water? Is it the profound stillness of silence? Is it the rigorous discipline of exercise? Is it the simple act of writing a single page? Choose your challenge. Commit to it without reservation. And then execute it with every ounce of your intensity. Because the task itself is secondary. It is the identity it forges within you that truly matters. When you do something hard every morning, you remind yourself of who you are. You are not a person who flees from pressure, but one who rises to meet it, who thrives under its weight. Most people in their weakness hit the snooze button and shrink from the day. You, on the other hand, will rise and sharpen your resolve. Most people wait for permission, for instructions, for someone else to lead the way. You will initiate. That is the edge. That is the energy that separates a life of power and purpose from a life of passive mediocrity. When the first decision of your day is a victory, a triumph of will over weakness, the rest of the day will follow in its footsteps. So find your hard thing, confront it, conquer it, and then watch as the rest of your life begins to bow in deference to your courage. Words are not mere sounds. They are seeds. They are the building blocks of worlds. And the first words you speak each morning, in the quiet solitude of your own company, are the most important words you will utter all day. They have the power to shape your state of mind, to write your story, to determine your steps. Most people, upon waking, immediately speak words of defeat. I'm tired. I'm stressed. Another long day. And what do they get in return? A life that mirrors their language, a life of exhaustion, anxiety, and drudgery. But you are different. You will wake up and declare your strength. You will say, I was born for this. Today I will build momentum. I will create peace and power wherever I go. This is not an act of self-deception. It is an act of programming. The subconscious mind, that powerful and mysterious engine of our being, does not discern between what is true and what is repeated. It believes what it is told, time and time again. And when you speak words of life, of strength, of purpose, your body will follow, your habits will align, your destiny will be forged. Begin each morning with declarations. State who you are. State who you are becoming. Not with the trembling voice of doubt, but with the unwavering conviction of faith. Not with the cold grip of fear, but with the burning fire of resolve. Look at yourself in the mirror and speak as a leader. Speak as someone who has already achieved victory. Speak as someone who refuses to allow the ghosts of the past to dictate the reality of the future. This is not arrogance. It is an agreement with your vision, with your values, with your ultimate triumph. So, before the world has a chance to whisper words of fear into your ear, you must first speak words of purpose into its heart. Your voice is the first voice your soul hears each day. Make it a voice worth following. The body is not merely a vessel, a container for the mind. It is a trigger. When you move your body, you shift your state of being. You awaken the warrior within. Have you ever observed how a slumped posture, with shoulders rounded and head bowed, can lead to a defeated and dejected mind? Have you ever noticed how shallow, rapid breaths can breed anxiety and fear? Your physiology is the author of your psychology. This is why every morning must begin with movement. Not necessarily a grueling workout, but a conscious engagement with your physical form. Stand tall with your shoulders back and your chest open. Breathe deeply, filling your lungs with the life-giving air. Walk with a brisk and purposeful stride. Stretch your limbs, train your muscles, allow yourself to sweat. Because when the body moves, the brain aligns, energy flows, clarity descends, and your confidence, that unshakable belief in your own abilities, will soar. Do not wait for the perfect workout routine, for the ideal set of circumstances. Start with what you have, where you are. A quick walk in the crisp morning air, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, it is enough. Enough to shift your state from passive to powerful. Winners are in constant motion. They do not languish in hesitation. They do not allow themselves to be confined by the limitations of their own making. They rise, they move, They set a tone so strong, so resolute, that weakness cannot find a foothold. Remember this: motion creates emotion. If you wish to feel different, you must move different. Make your morning a sacred ritual by making your body an active participant in it. Your future self will thank you for the momentum you build today. Your morning movement is not about achieving some arbitrary standard of fitness. It is about claiming your freedom. So rise, move, and take control. There is a moment, a quiet, fleeting, yet profoundly powerful moment that arrives just after you open your eyes. In that single, suspended breath of awakening, your mind is a blank slate, wide open, vulnerable, impressionable. You have not yet been sullied by the chaos of the world. You have not yet been pulled in 1,000 different directions by the demands and distractions of others. It is in this sacred, precious sliver of time that a choice must be made. A choice of monumental consequence. Will you command your thoughts, or will you be commanded by the world? Most people are oblivious to this power. They rise from their slumber and instinctively, unthinkingly, reach for the newspaper, for the radio dial, for some external source to define the moment for them. They fill their minds with the voices and crises of the world. Politics, markets, the idle gossip of the neighborhood. The mind, still delicate and unguarded, is quickly overrun by these external burdens. Worry, like a creeping vine, begins to take root. Comparison, that thief of joy, starts to rear its ugly head. The urgency of others overtakes the peace of their own purpose. And before the sun has even fully risen, they have already lost the inner battle. Their thoughts are no longer their own. They have been drafted into someone else's war. Not a single word has been spoken aloud, yet their silence has already surrendered the day. But there are others, the rare ones, the intentional few. They are the ones who treat the morning not as a chore, but as the launch pad of destiny. They understand that leadership, the kind of leadership that shapes lives, that builds empires, that creates movements, does not begin with the roar of applause or the glow of recognition. It begins in silence. It begins behind closed doors, long before anyone else is watching. It begins in the bedroom, not the boardroom. In thought, not in noise. These individuals, these masters of their own fate, command their minds. They rise with intention, not reaction. Instead of reaching for the world, they reach within. They speak affirmations that anchor their identity, that solidify their resolve. They visualize the person they are becoming, not at some distant point in the future, but in the here and now. They breathe deeply, consciously, drawing in strength and exhaling doubt. They sit in stillness, in quiet contemplation, allowing the whispers of their intuition to be heard. They move their bodies not out of obligation, but to awaken their strength, to kindle the fire within. They choose clarity over confusion, purpose over passivity. The first 10 minutes after waking are not trivial. They are everything. These precious minutes set the rhythm for the hours that follow. If those minutes are filled with power, with direction, with vision, the rest of the day will align itself with purpose. But if they are filled with distraction, with doubt, with the emotional noise of the world, then the day becomes a reaction, a series of desperate responses to other people's agendas. And that, I assure you, is no way to live. You do not have the luxury of waking up weak, not in a world this loud, this fast, this unforgiving. You must seize that first moment before the world does. You must decide what matters most, not what is trending, not what others expect of you, but what your own spirit, your own inner compass knows to be true. And you must do this every single day, not just once in a while, when the mood strikes you. Repetition is the mother of character. Discipline is the cement of belief. So write down your thoughts, even if they are scattered and incoherent. Speak your vision, even if your voice trembles with uncertainty. Move your body, even if it resists your every command. These are the declarations of a leader. These are the acts of someone who is in the process of becoming. You do not wait for external success to validate your path. You walk the path because you believe in your own becoming. And if you do not believe in your own destiny, how can you possibly expect anyone else to? If you do not guard that precious, sacred moment of mental awakening, the world will rush in to claim it. The world will tell you who you are, what you should do, and how you should feel. But you were not built for that kind of slavery. You were built to lead, and every leader, without exception, must first learn to lead the self. Command your thoughts, because every thought, repeated often enough, becomes a belief. Belief shapes behavior, and behavior, over time, builds destiny. This is not about self-help tricks or fleeting positive thinking fads. This is about self-leadership, and self-leadership is the first and most important door to freedom. No one can give it to you. You must seize it for yourself. Each morning is a meeting with your mind. Do not miss this meeting. Do not arrive late. And do not, under any circumstances, allow someone else to speak in your place. Show up. Speak clearly. Remind yourself who you are and why you are here. The headlines can wait. The messages can wait. Your purpose cannot. This is your mind. This is your mission. This is your moment. Lead it before the world leads you. Lead yourself. Write it down or lose it forever. The moment you wake, your mind is a torrent, a fire hose of uncontrolled, powerful thoughts. Ideas, worries, memories, intentions, and fleeting moments of inspiration flood your consciousness before you are even fully aware that you are awake. And if you do not capture them, they will vanish, like mist in the morning sun. Ideas not written down become ghosts, haunting reminders of what could have been. Goals not committed to paper become mere wishes, fragile and insubstantial. Desires not clarified become distractions, pulling you in 1,000 different directions. But herein lies a secret kept by every successful man and woman of purpose. They write, not later in the day, when the world has already left its indelible mark, but early, before the day has a chance to impose its will upon them. They write not because it is convenient, but because it is necessary. They write not to be poetic, but to be precise, to bring shape and form to their swirling thoughts, to command the chaos of the mind before it takes command of them. Writing in the morning is not about being a writer. It is about being a leader of your mind, of your mission, of your life. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, that is all it takes to change the entire trajectory of your day. Begin by writing what is already inside you. What you are thinking, what you are feeling, what you want, what you fear, what you know deep down you must do. Clarity is born in ink. The act of writing is a mirror held up to your inner world. It turns the fog of confusion into the solid form of understanding. It slows down the frantic rush of your thoughts and allows you to hear your own voice, clearly and distinctly. Writing takes the invisible and makes it visible. It is not just a passive reflection. It is an active refinement. It is focus. It is direction. Every page you write is a commitment. Every word is a choice. When you put pen to paper, you send a powerful signal to your subconscious mind that what you are thinking, what you are feeling, what you are dreaming matters. You are giving structure to your spirit. You are saying to yourself and to the universe, this is who I am. This is what I value. This is what I am building. Your mind is a garden, and writing is the act of pruning. It removes the weeds of doubt and fear. It waters the seeds of vision and purpose. It turns scattered, chaotic emotions into organized, actionable thoughts. When you write, you take back control. You cease to be a passive reactor and become an active creator. You stop wandering aimlessly and start walking with purpose. Think of the great minds who have come before you. Lincoln, scribbling his speeches on scraps of paper, refining his thoughts until they were as sharp as a razor's edge. Edison, filling countless notebooks with sketches and insights, chronicling his every idea, his every experiment. Marcus Aurelius, penning his meditations not for the world, but for himself, as a guide for his own soul. They all knew something that modern men have forgotten. The mind cannot be trusted to remember what the hand refuses to record. Do not entrust your future to the fickle whims of your memory. Write it down. Make it real. Make it visible. And then watch as your life begins to organize itself around what you have written. The goals you list on the page will become the plans you follow in your life. The gratitude you express in your journal will become the peace you feel in your heart. The problems you name will become the solutions you seek. What you do not write down, you will not remember. What you do not remember, you will not act upon. And what you do not act upon, you will not become. A man's life is not shaped by the thoughts he has, but by the thoughts he anchors. And writing, my friend, is the anchor. So start small, start simple, but for the love of all that is holy, take up a pen, open a notebook, sit in silence, write one line of truth, then another, and as you write you will feel the shift, the fog will begin to lift, you will no longer be drifting, you will be directing, no longer reactive but intentional. This is how greatness begins. Not with a thunderous ovation, not with a flawless performance, but with a quiet moment, a firm hand, and a few honest words on a page. Write your way into clarity. Write your way into purpose. Write your way into power. Start with the truth. Start with your soul. Seize the morning and write your way into greatness. Gratitude is not a soft sentiment for the weak-willed. It is your greatest leverage, a strategic weapon for the strong of mind. If you wish to multiply your momentum, to accelerate your progress, you must begin not with what you lack, but with what you already possess. Gratitude is not a passive emotion. It is an active force. It centers you. It grounds you. It reminds you that you are not starting from a position of scarcity, but from a position of abundance. And when you begin your day with a sense of fullness, the world cannot make you feel small. Gratitude has the power to change the very atmosphere of your mind. It rewires your perception, shifting you from a mentality of lack to one of sufficiency, from the illusion of scarcity to the empowering reality of appreciation. Without it, your thoughts will inevitably spiral into a vortex of complaint and comparison. With it, your energy is redirected towards creation and contribution. And here is a truth as solid as the earth beneath your feet. You cannot build greatness from a place of grievance. You must build from a foundation of strength, and the purest form of strength is gratitude. In the profound stillness of the morning, before the world has had a chance to speak its demands, take a moment. Just a single, solitary moment. Name 3 things for which you are genuinely grateful. Speak them aloud, their vibrations filling the quiet air. Write them down, their ink staining the page with the permanence of your appreciation. Reflect upon them as if they were priceless treasures in your possession. They need not be grand or ostentatious. The breath in your lungs, the strength in your limbs, the roof over your head, the love of your family, the simple fact that you have been granted another day, another chance. Do not, I repeat, do not underestimate the power of this simple practice. It is not a mere habit. It is a spiritual alignment. When you begin your day from a place of genuine appreciation, you tap into a source of power far deeper than mere ambition. You activate joy. You create mental wealth. You remind yourself that you already possess immense value within you. And from that place of inner wealth, you can pursue your outer goals with confidence, not desperation. Those who radiate a quiet contentment become magnets for opportunity. People are inexplicably drawn to those who do not complain, who do not grasp, who do not beg the world for its affirmation. They are drawn to those who affirm themselves, and gratitude is the voice of that affirmation. Gratitude is not the end of hunger, it is the strength that feeds it. It does not extinguish ambition, it fuels it. Because when you are grateful, you no longer chase success out of a sense of emptiness, but out of a sense of fullness. You pursue it out of purpose, out of a deep-seated desire to contribute, not to complete yourself. You are already whole. The chase is no longer a desperate attempt to prove your worth, but a joyful expression of it. Most people run headlong into the day with no pause, no reflection. They leap from the comfort of their bed into the burden of their obligations, from the stillness of waking into the chaos of worry. But not you. You will pause. You will reflect. And then, and only then, you will rise with perspective. That is your edge. That is your discipline. That is your daily return to power. Do not wait for some dramatic event to feel grateful. Gratitude is not a reactive emotion. It is a proactive one. It is not a response to good fortune. It is the creator of it. You must cultivate it, like a master farmer tends his soil daily, deliberately, with unwavering commitment. It is not just a fleeting mood. It is a steadfast mindset. It is a spiritual muscle that must be exercised. Gratitude is how you hold your blessings in your hands, instead of letting them slip through your fingers, unnoticed and unappreciated. It is how you protect your inner peace when the storms of life inevitably roll in. It is how you remind yourself, again and again, that you have already won many battles. You are not empty. You are equipped. Start each and every morning with this practice. Do not make it complicated. Do not make it optional. 3 things, 3 truths, 3 blessings. Make this your sacred ritual. Gratitude is not the finish line. It is the launch pad. It does not end your hunger. It sharpens it. It does not stop you from climbing. It gives you the strength to ascend. When you live from a place of gratitude, you are no longer chasing from a sense of emptiness, but creating from a sense of fullness. You are no longer a desperate seeker. You are a humble steward of abundance. And from that place, all things become possible. The world does not bend to those who complain. It bends to those who command their energy through the power of gratitude. Begin there. Begin each day by anchoring yourself to what is already good, what is already working, what is already yours. And then go forth and build the rest. Set one clear, unwavering target for the day. Most people, upon waking, immediately plunge themselves into a frenzy of activity. They glance at an endless list of tasks, attempt to juggle them all simultaneously, and inevitably end the day exhausted, unfulfilled, and deeply unsatisfied. The tragedy is that they do much, but accomplish little. Movement without direction is chaos, and chaos is the mortal enemy of progress. Power does not come from doing more. It comes from doing what matters most. Power comes from precision. And every powerful, productive day begins with a single, crucial question. What is the one thing I must accomplish today that will move my mission forward? Your energy is a finite resource. Your attention is fragile and easily scattered. These are precious commodities, not to be squandered on trivial matters. If you scatter them, they lose their potency. But if you aim them, if you focus them like a laser beam, they become a force of nature. So you must train yourself to stop waking up into a cacophony of noise and start waking up into a state of focused clarity. Begin each day by identifying one clear target. Not 10, not 5. 1. Write it down. Speak it aloud. Visualize it as already accomplished. This is your assignment for the day. This is your strike point. Everything else is secondary, mere background noise until this primary objective is achieved. When you wake up with this kind of clarity, the world can no longer pull you in 100 different directions. You no longer spend your precious hours reacting to the whims of others. You spend them directing your own path. Your choices become easier. Your standards become sharper. Distractions lose their seductive appeal because you have a mission. A man with a mission is not easily moved. He is not tempted by every fleeting opportunity because he knows which one truly matters. The most successful individuals are not those who do the most. They are the ones who do what matters most, and they do it first. Before the noise of the day begins, before the world has a chance to interrupt, before the tyranny of the urgent overrides the importance of the essential, they strike. They strike early, and they strike with unwavering intention. Set your target. See it clearly in your mind's eye. Break it down into manageable steps. And then begin. You do not need to conquer the entire mountain today. You just need to take the next step up. One win. That is all it takes to ignite the spark of momentum. And momentum, my friend, is everything. One win builds belief. Belief builds action. Action builds results. And results, compounded over time, multiply into greatness. This is the engine of achievement, not perfection, not hustle for its own sake, but focused, deliberate effort, day after day after day. So each morning, as you sit in the quiet stillness, before the world begins to demand your attention, ask yourself this simple but profound question. What is my win for today? Not a list of errands, not a dozen distractions. Just one powerful, purposeful step forward. What will move you closer to your ultimate vision? What will make today a victory? Do not confuse being busy with being effective. Busyness is a trap. It flatters the ego but betrays the mission. Your goal is not to fill the hours of the day, but to fulfill your purpose. And that begins with intention. That begins with choosing your win. When you identify that one target and pursue it with everything you have, you begin to own your time. You command your hours instead of being commanded by them. You shape your life instead of drifting through it. You become a builder, not a borrower of time. This practice, repeated daily, will transform you. You will stop waking up into a fog of confusion and start waking up with a renewed sense of confidence. You will stop being overwhelmed by a multitude of options and become obsessed with achieving a singular outcome. The fog of indecision will lift, and in its place will stand a clear path, your path. When you win the morning, you own the day, not because the day will be perfect, but because you have chosen your direction. You have declared your aim. And then, with discipline and with fire, you have moved toward it. Start tomorrow with this question on your lips and a newfound resolve in your heart. What is my win for today? Then, act. And as the days turn into weeks, and the weeks into months, and the months into years, you will look back and see a life built not by chance, but by choice. One target, one strike, one win, every single day. That is how you build a legacy. Before the world begins its relentless assault on your senses, before the meetings, the errands, the demands, and the distractions, you must claim one sacred thing for yourself. Stillness. 10 minutes. That is all it takes. 10 minutes of silence. 10 minutes of conscious breath. 10 minutes of connection to something higher, something deeper, something unshakable. This time is not a luxury. It is a necessity. It is not for the idle, but for the intentional. Stillness is not laziness. It is leadership. In fact, it may be the highest form of leadership, for it is the practice of mastering the self before attempting to master the day. Each morning, before you open the door to the world, you must first open the door to your soul. Before you check your obligations, you must first check your alignment. Sit in silence. Breathe slowly, deliberately. Listen to what your heart, in its infinite wisdom, is trying to tell you. Pray if you are a person of faith. Meditate if that is your chosen method. Reflect. Journal. Do whatever it takes to center yourself in a state of inner peace. Because peace is not something that can be found in the world. It is something that must be forged within you. Most people leap from their beds into the battlefield of life, unarmed and unprepared. They meet the chaos of the world with a corresponding chaos in their own minds. But you must be different. You must be deliberate. Stillness is your armor. It shields you from the noise, from the urgency, from the insidious lies that try to define your worth by your speed. In a world that is addicted to rush, stillness is an act of rebellion. It is your declaration that nothing outside of you will be allowed to dictate your state within. It is your assertion that your peace is not up for negotiation. It is your quiet resolve that you will not be moved by the wind because you are rooted like a mountain. Vision is not born in the midst of motion. It is born in the quiet stillness. Wisdom is not shouted from the rooftops. It is whispered in the silent moments that few people dare to enter. Stillness is where you meet your intuition, your creator, your conscience. It is where the next right move becomes crystal clear. It is where strategy is born and panic dies. 10 minutes of this practice can shift the entire trajectory of your day. 10 minutes of deep, conscious breathing can regulate your nervous system, center your focus, and sharpen your mind. 10 minutes of connection to your purpose can override 10 hours of external pressure. It is not about how long you spend in stillness. It is about how deeply you allow yourself to go. Give yourself this gift. Guard it fiercely. Let no conversation interrupt it. Let no obligation claim it. This is your meeting with your mission. This is your sacred ritual. Before the world tries to speak over you, you must first hear your own voice. Before others place their demands upon you, you must first place your own direction within yourself. The calmest minds make the sharpest decisions. The quietest mornings create the loudest victories. This is not some esoteric philosophy. This is a matter of practical performance. Champions in every field, without exception, have routines of solitude. Their strength does not come from the noise of the world, but from the discipline of their own minds, from the practice of centering themselves, from the conscious choice to embrace stillness before engaging with the storm. Do not rush into your day. Rise into it. Do not react. Respond. Do not spin in circles. Stand still and let clarity rise to the surface. From this place of inner peace, you will walk differently. You will speak with a newfound weight and authority. You will act with unwavering intention. People will feel it. They may not know why, but they will sense it. They will feel that you are not swayed by the winds of circumstance, that you are grounded in something deeper, something more real. Stillness is not the absence of movement. It is the presence of power. A quiet, commanding power that does not need to prove itself. It just is. Like a lion resting in the sun, unbothered, unshaken, until the moment to act arrives. So each morning step into this sacred space. Let it hold you. Let it shape you. Let it whisper the truths that the world, in its noisy clamor, tries to make you forget. You are not rushed. You are not behind. You are not defined by what you do today. You are defined by who you are becoming. And who you are becoming is shaped most deeply in the crucible of stillness. Protect it. Practice it. And from that place of quiet power, rise. Because from that place, the day will bend in your favor. You must decide who you will be today before the day decides for you. The world will try to label you, to shape you, to push you into a mold that fits its own preferences. But you are not a product of chance. You are